Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It is me, your girl, Goddess of Love and Truth Reacts, coming to you with another video reaction review upload. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, welcome back. All of you guys' support is greatly and truly appreciated. If you have not subscribed to the channel as of yet, what are you waiting for? It is free, and it costs you absolutely nothing. And guess what? It is fun over here. We get a good key. We get some story time. We get some jury trial information, some verdicts. We get some follow-ups, all that good stuff. And your name, we got it, okay? All right. So come on in the room and click that subscribe button, click that bell notification for all so that you never miss an upload. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and leave your comments down below. By liking the video and subscribing to the channel, you do get to help my channel grow by getting in and remaining in the YouTube algorithm. And to show you guys that I do appreciate you supporting my channel, because you absolutely don't have to. So I am showing you that I do appreciate you by telling you thank you and doing a series of subscriber givebacks. I've already completed the first subscriber give back. Once we reached 1,000 subscribers, I gave away $100. That was completed via live stream. So if you want to see that, click on the live videos and you'll be able to see where I gave away the $100 to a lucky subscriber. The next subscriber give back is going to be at 5,000 subscribers, where I will be giving away a total of $200. And then there are more subscriber give backs after that as well. So keep on subscribing, keep on liking, keep on commenting, keep on sharing. Thank you again for your support. It is greatly and truly appreciated. All right, you guys, we are about to get into an update on P. Diddy. So I keep seeing these different channels where they are putting out here that the judge may be considering overturning the jury's verdict in Diddy's trial. I don't think they're reading the information right, because once the jury finds the defendant not guilty in a criminal trial, the judge cannot by any means overturn that. That is considered double jeopardy. The judge cannot overturn a jury's not guilty decision in a criminal trial. The people are having this confused. Now, what they're looking at when they're Googling it and they're searching it, they're looking at a civil trial. Unlike a criminal trial and a civil trial, in a criminal trial, the judge cannot overturn a not guilty verdict. Let me say that again. In a criminal trial, whether federal or not, a criminal trial, the judge cannot overturn a not guilty verdict from the jury. The only way a judge can overturn a not guilty verdict from the jury is in a criminal trial. Okay? Now, I've seen people pull this up and they show it on Google and they putting it out there. They're not reading everything. They're reading what's beneficial to them and they're moving forward. Or they're just searching, can a judge overturn a jury's not guilty verdict? And they're not specifically putting in criminal. So I'm going to show you guys instead of just telling you guys. Let's take a look at it. All right, guys. So if you go in there and you Google it, I want y'all to Google specifically, can a federal judge overturn a jury's not guilty verdict in a criminal trial? And then here is your answer. No. A federal judge cannot overturn a jury's not guilty verdict in a criminal trial. This is due to the constitutional protection against double jeopardy. Is that not what I just said? Which prevents a defendant from being tried twice for the same offense after being acquitted. While judges cannot overturn guilty verdicts in certain circumstances, such as insufficient evidence or errors during the trial, a not guilty verdict is final. Let's read that again. While judges can overturn guilty verdicts in certain circumstances, such as insufficient evidence or errors during the trial, a not guilty verdict is final. So they can overturn certain guilty verdicts in certain circumstances, but a not guilty verdict is final. So they cannot overturn that. Here's why. Double jeopardy, because I know y'all probably like, how does that make sense? It says, while judges can overturn a guilty verdict in certain circumstances, such as insufficient evidence or errors during a trial, a not guilty verdict is final. Okay? I know, right? Say, how can it say they can overturn it, but then say it's final, right? Okay. Here's why. Double jeopardy. The Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution protects individuals from being tried twice for the same crime. Once a jury has found a defendant not guilty, that verdict stands, and the prosecution cannot appeal it or seek a retrial. Let's read that again. Double jeopardy. The Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution protects individuals from being tried twice for the same crime. Once a jury has found a defendant not guilty, that verdict stands, and the prosecution, now that's what he was doing, prostituting. The prosecution cannot appeal it or seek a retrial. Jury's role. Juries are the founders of fact in criminal trials. They assesses the evidence and determine whether the prosecution has proven the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The judge's role. Judges oversees the legal proceedings, ensuring a fair trial and instructing the jury on the law. They can grant motions for a new trial if errors occurred during the trial, but not to overturn a not guilty verdict based on the juror's factual finding. Let's read that part again. Judges oversee the legal proceedings, ensuring a fair trial and instructing the jury on the law. They can grant motions for a new trial if errors occurred during the trial, but not to overturn a guilty verdict based on the juror's factual findings. Now, this is what people are saying here. They're doing this judgment notwithstanding the verdict, the JNOV. That's what people are saying, that this is what the judge can use. So we're going to read this, and it's going to tell you when this applies. Well, y'all can see it already on the screen before I read it. Judgment notwithstanding the verdict, a JNOV. JNOV. While judges can grant a JNOV in civil cases, setting aside a jury's verdict, this is not permitted in criminal cases after a not guilty verdict. Y'all see that? Let's read that again. While judges can grant a JNOV in civil cases, setting aside a jury's verdict, this is not permitted in criminal cases after a not guilty verdict. Legal sources says a JNOV is a way to correct a jury's verdict when it is considered unreasonable or unsupported by the evidence. However, in a criminal case, it would violate the double jeopardy clause to overturn a not guilty verdict and retry the defendant. Okay? So for people out there saying that the judge is considering overturning the verdict, that is absolutely false. The judge cannot overturn it. Even, I know they're saying about that juror that came out and did that interview, I believe on CNN, where he was an alternate juror and he was telling them that they had already pretty much knew that Diddy was not guilty, and they was discussing it, and they like, everybody like, how you know? Because y'all not supposed to discuss anything about the trial until y'all go into deliberations, and you as an alternate juror did not go into deliberations. So how do you know what the other jurors were thinking? He specifically said that he and the other jurors unanimously, I can't even say it, unanimously did not believe Don's testimony. Again, you would ask yourself, how do you know this, sir? How can you say what other people thought when y'all were not supposed to be discussing it? But even if they get found, I wouldn't say guilty, because if they get found that they were actually talking about the trial, even if it's proven, they can get in trouble. The jury can get in trouble for doing it because they wasn't supposed to, but that still cannot overturn the verdict, even if it's proven that the jury were talking and doing things that they should not have been doing. And let me see if I can find that. Hold on, I'm going to Google that, because I think it's something else that I saw that tells you, that speaks on it more about even if the judge finds out that the jury has did something. Hold on. One second, guys. Okay, here it is, guys. Okay, so for jury misconduct, that's the word I was trying to think of and couldn't think of. Okay. It says, no, a federal judge cannot overturn a jury's not guilty verdict in a criminal trial, even if there is evidence of a jury misconduct. And that would be what the juror admitted to on their interview, because they are not supposed to be discussing the trial. So even if there are evidence, they can suffer consequences, the jury, but the judge cannot overturn it. Let's read that again. No, a federal judge cannot overturn a jury's not guilty verdict in a criminal trial, even if there is evidence of jury misconduct. This is because of the Fifth Amendment's double jeopardy clause. Protects defendants from being tried twice for the same crime after being acquitted. While a judge can investigate and address jury misconduct and potentially order a mistrial or new trial if misconduct is found during the deliberation process, they cannot reverse a not guilty verdict. Okay? All right? And again, here's why. The double jeopardy clause of the Fifth Amendment prevents a defendant from being tried again for the same offenses after being acquitted. Now, y'all, I wish that this wasn't true, because I absolutely feel that Diddy should have been found guilty on all 5 counts. Unfortunately, the jury did not rule that way. I don't understand how come they didn't, because the evidence was there and the evidence was clear. And they had even more evidence that we were not able to even see and hear. So it should have been very clear. That I feel like they just rushed it because they didn't want to be there for the 4th of July holiday. But it said they cannot. The judge cannot. I wish the judge could, but the judge cannot. If this was a civil trial, yes, the judge can overturn it under the JNOV. But this is a criminal trial, federal or not. It cannot be overturned. That is considered double jeopardy. Jury notification. A jury can return a not guilty verdict even if they believe the defendant broke the law, a concept known as jury nullification. See? So even if the jury feel like the defendant broke the law, they can still give a not guilty verdict. The judge's role: while judges have the authority to ensure a fair trial, they cannot overturn a jury's not guilty verdict. Remedies for misconduct. If a jury misconduct is discovered, a judge may order a mistrial, allowing for a retrial or new trial, but not overturn the original acquittal. So if the judge found all this out before they came back with the verdict, then that would be a whole different story. It would be a whole mistrial and they would start all over. But this is after the fact. After the fact. So the judge cannot overturn it. He cannot. Only thing he can do is those 2 charges that Diddy was found guilty for, he can give him the maximum time for that to try to make up for that. Another thing that the prosecution can do, because there were several more charges that they could have charged Diddy for, but they did not. And I feel like that's what's going to happen. They're going to let him get sentenced on October 3rd. And if he get the walk out after that, because if they try to give him time served or whatever, I feel like they gonna be like, right when the judge ordered it and Diddy think he walking out, and soon as he walk out the door, they're gonna be like, hey, we got a warrant for your arrest for this, that, third, and the other. I feel like they're gonna hit him with new charges. That's what I believe. That's what's gonna happen. They're going to hit him with new charges because there were several other charges that they could have charged him with, and they did not. But the judge cannot overturn this not guilty verdict, unfortunately, you guys. Appeal. If a defendant is found guilty, they can appeal the verdict. However, appeals courts generally do not reevaluate factual evidence or second guess the jury's decision. They focus on whether the trial court made legal errors. And that's for the two that he got found guilty of the prostitution count, for Jane Doe and for Cassie. But the other three where he was found not guilty, there's absolutely nothing the judge can do. It is done. It is a wrap. The prosecution can just come back and charge him with more charges that they did not go for before. And that's typically what they do. They don't always charge you for everything right up front, just in case something like this happen, in case something go wrong, then they can come back and hit you with the other charges. But all right, you guys, I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I see more and more people reporting on it. At first, I just saw people that I know always do clickbaits and stuff like that, putting it out there. So I was like, I ain't finna make no video about that because these people are known to do clickbaits. But I've also seen some people who normally don't do clickbaits. And I don't think that they're Googling the right thing, or that I don't think that they realize they're looking at what can be done in a civil trial versus a criminal. So I just wanted to come out here and clarify that. All right, you guys, leave your comments down below. Make sure that y'all keep it cute or keep it on mute. If you agree or disagree, that's fine. You can leave your comments, but do not be rude. Just leave your comment if you agree or if you disagree and why. But there will be no rude comments towards me or any others in the comment section, or you will be blocked and deleted. Okay? All right. Capiche? Capiche. Agree to disagree. But it's right here. It's right here. Okay? I ain't no judge. I ain't no lawyer. I did go to law school for a little bit, but that was many years ago. So I'm not even finna fake the funk and act like I believe it. I mean, that I remember that stuff. I don't. But I knew that I wasn't tripping. I was like, wait, am I tripping? I know that you cannot overturn a criminal not guilty verdict. I know that was double jeopardy. If I know nothing else, I knew that. I knew that. So, baby, I had to come on here and like, wait a minute. Let me find out. So I had to let y'all find out, okay? But leave y'all comments down below. Like the video, share the video. If you have not subscribed to the channel as of yet, what are you waiting for? It is free and it costs you absolutely nothing. So click that subscribe button, click that bell notification for all so that you never miss an upload. And as we say before we go, love, peace, and hair grease. Smooches. Bye. Have a wonderfully blessed night, you guys. Bye.